everybody, Luther for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new Blast from the Past. This time we are talking about spirits. It's kind of an archetype, kind of not really. They don't have an archetype, but they have a whole bunch of monsters that seemingly don't have very workable effects and that they work with each other instead to make up for the fact that all spirits go back to the hand at the end phase of the turn. They were summoned or foot face up. They all have really good effects. The only spirits who actually have effects involving other spirits is Izanami, Orotava, and Nikitama. Everybody else, I guess Izanagi and Yamato no Kami kind of do as well. Everybody else doesn't have anything to do with any of the other monsters in the archetype. And really the only thing that ties them all together is the spells and traps. And so you kind of can call it an archetype, you kind of can't. Personally, I really hope that one of these days Konami does give spirits an official archetype. They have had monsters in other archetypes, mostly ice barriers and Gishki, and I did cover the Gishki spirits and the Gishki Blast from the Past, and I'm not going to cover the ice barrier spirits here. I'm going to wait and do it if I ever cover ice barriers, which I probably will get around to at some point. So, spirits, how do they work? Well, they are monsters that cannot be special summoned, with the exception of two of them. One of them is not technically a spirit, but he has the same art style and supports them. But however, they can't be special summoned with the exception of two, and they bounce back to hand at end phase, which is a bit annoying. Now, to make up for this, as I said, they have extremely powerful effects for their levels. Generally speaking, some of them don't, and that's very, very sad. Now, however, the ones that do are very, very good. I mean, heck, one of them is banned and is arguably one of the best cards in the game. So, really, it's very, the deck is a very mixed bag, or at least rather should I say the typing is a very mixed bag with their effects. So let's go ahead and go over them and kind of talk about my opinions on them and what I think they need. So, first and foremost is the Amaterasu. This actually is coming out, I believe, in the Dark Illusion, might be the set afterwards, I can't remember. So, one of the recurring themes of spirits is that they are all based off of gods and goddesses from mostly Japanese mythology, but some of them are from other mythologies like Hinduism and Buddhism. And I'm sorry if anybody practices that religion, but like I'm talking about, like, you know, the stories and stuff, you know, about like all the different gods and goddesses. And I kind of just plump everything into mythology. Anyway, so Amaterasu in Japanese mythology is the sun god, well, sun goddess, sun god, I can't remember if it was a boy or a girl, and it's kind of hard to tell in this picture, but Amaterasu is basically the big head god. Izanagi might be the creator, but Amaterasu is one of the big ones that a lot of people like really respect over there. If they, I believe it's Shintoism? Yeah, if they practice Shintoism. So Amaterasu, I believe it's coming out in Dark Illusion or the set afterwards, can't remember. Level 9, 3k by 3k, cannot be normal or special summon. This is the first spirit that, first spirit that cannot be normal or special summon. There was a spirit that can't be normal summon, and we'll get to him here shortly, but this is the first one that can't be normal or special summon. And the reason being is because it's a foot-by-fight monster, basically. So it's a 3k by 3k. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets this face-down card, you can change this card to face-up defense position and draw one card. If this card is face up, banish all cards on the field other than this card. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this card is face up this turn, return it to the hand. So, my biggest issue with this card is that you aren't ever going to get to use that draw effect. Okay, well, actually, that's not my biggest issue, but my biggest issue is that it also banishes your cards, okay? And, well, yeah, it's not going to be a big deal, really, and it's probably going to be the only monster you have unless you really build a deck around it. It's still a big issue because the easiest way that I see of summoning this is activating Mausoleum of the Emperor, paying 2k, setting it, and then hoping your opponent doesn't attack into it or target it or anything. It goes back to your turn, flip it face up, use its effect, banish everything, and then normal summon something and attack. That is really the big issue that I have of it. Not to mention, it's level 9, and it has, don't get me wrong, that's a really good effect, banishing everything else on the field. I mean, heck, the only other thing that I can think of that banishes everything on the field is Sophia, the Goddess of Creation, and her ritual version. So, really, honestly, this is a really powerful effect, but I don't see this card being used, and it's honestly not a card that I would personally use in a Spirit deck. Next up is Hinogu Tsuchi. Honestly, I would argue that this guy is the boss monster of the deck. Yes, technically speaking, your Amaterasu is more powerful, but as I just explained, Amaterasu is very gimmicky. Hinogu Tsuchi actually has a lot of benefits and really is a really good card that I would highly recommend playing in a Spirit deck, at least as a 1-of, maybe a 2-of. So it's a level 8, it's a Pyro Fire, 2800, 2900. For some reason, he and the other big spirit monster have more defense than they have attack, but I don't really know why. This card cannot be special summoned. I'm not going to bother reading that for because every other spirit has that very first line of text. This card returns to the owner's hand during the end phase of the turn. It was normal or summoned. Normal summon or face up. Again, not going to read that for every other spirit. If this guy does battle damage to your opponent, all cards in your opponent's hand have to be discarded before they draw in the next draw phase. So, if you do damage to your opponent, and this guy's got 2800 attack, so he's going to punch over just about everything, and he quite literally will punch over it, because I think he uses his fists as evidence by last turn. So, your opponent has to get rid of their entire hand before they draw. That is insane! And just imagine if you do that to your opponent while they have 6 cards in hand, and they lose everything, they draw, and they're like, oh god. It's really, really good. I think the whole premise is, okay, set it, let your opponent attack into it, they'll take more damage, and then they have to discard it. But that's a little too slow. So I really do like this guy. I recommend him as a 1 or 2 of in spirits, generally speaking. Next up is Yamada Dragon. This guy, I'm not going to lie, is my personal favorite because he was my first spirit monster when I was a kid, and he is so cool looking. So, Yamada Dragon, he's a level 7 Dragon Fire, 2600 attack, 3100 defense. I really wish those stats were switched. Now, this guy has actually seen some meta play. Some Dragon Roller players, back when full power Dragon Rollers were running around, were playing this guy because of his effect. So, he's basically the attack opposite of Hinogu Tsuchi. When Yamada Dragon does battle damage to your opponent, you draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. So the reason why people were playing this guy in Dragon Rollers is because he's a level 7 Fire Dragon, so he can work with Blaster, he can work with all the Dragon Roller effects. Dragon Rollers had a really easy time of spamming the board, so you could spam out 2 Dragon Rollers using the baby effects, maybe activate a Super Rejuve, summon out 2 guys, tribute summon out Yamada, then use the Dragon Rollers effects engrave and in your hand and stuff, and just go off from there. And then, oh hey, battle damage, draw 5, okay, end phase, draw 10 more off of a Super Rejuve. It was pretty stupid. But however, not many people played Yamada Dragon. He was very much a tech choice. Still though, I really do like this guy, and I really do recommend playing 1 or 2 of in a spirit build. Next up is another guy who's actually seen some meta play. A lot of spirits have seen meta play. I'm going to say that right now. So, he's a level 6, this is Dark Dust Spirit, by the way, I forgot to say his name. Sabi Earth, 2200 attack, 1800 defense, and he's a level 6. Whenever he is normal summon or foot face up, he destroys all other monsters that are face up on the field. So, you're probably wondering, okay, which deck played this? Monarchs, okay? The old school Monarchs before they became super fast, speedy deck, played this quite a bit. And he always started seeing more play whenever Monarch Storm 4 first came out, because then you could just draw your opponent, get rid of something big, Dark Dust Spirit revealed, attack for 2200. This guy is really, really good. The biggest issue nowadays is that destruction effects really aren't all that great. I mean, oh hey, you destroyed all of your opponent's Cosmo monsters. Oh hey, look at that, they all float. Oh hey, you destroyed all your opponent's Burning Abyss. Oh hey, look at that, they float. See what I mean? So Dark Dust Spirit, while he was good in the past, he's kind of seen a lot of loss in interest in play by a lot of players. Next up is Mono no Okami. This guy is another cool one. He's the first spirit that can't be normal summoned, but instead he must be special summoned. But he must be special summoned from your hand by removing from play 1 spirit monster from your graveyard. and he still returns to hand at end phase, which is annoying. So if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can destroy one spell or trap card your opponent controls. So he's kind of like a walking MST, and because he has 2200 attacking, you can get over a lot of things, but not everything. Now, you're probably wondering, what benefit do spirits have from banishing something from the graveyard? Really nothing. Once a spirit hits the graveyard, they are there, because you can't call to hunt them back, you can't soul charge them back, you can't Monster Reborn them back, and really the only way of getting them back is using Izanami's effect, and what's basically discard a card, add a spirit from your graveyard to your hand. So, really, once a spirit hits the graveyard, there's no way of getting them back. So, once they're there, go ahead and do whatever you want with them with Yamato Ogami. So, really, honestly, that banishing is not bad. It's just a fact that I hate it that he has to return to your hand at end phase like every other spirit. Like, he's special enough. Why can't he be more special? Next up is Izanagi. So, technically speaking, he is not a spirit, but he has the same card art, style, and lore kind of thing. And also, like, really, if you know anything about the story of Izanagi and Izanami, these two are married and everything. Not to mention this guy is direct spirit support. And so, basically, you can special summon this guy from your hand by removing from play one spirit monster from your hand. Spirit monsters you control do not have to have their effects that return them to the hand activated. He is a level 6, 2200, 1000 fairy wind monster. So, the very nice thing about this guy is he's easy to summon. You just banish a spirit in your hand. Not really a big deal, kind of annoying, but hey, you can still tribute summon him if you really want to, but it's not necessary. And the big thing about him is that while he's on the field, spirit monsters you control don't have to return to hand. And here's one of the cool things, and it's a loophole of spirits. If a spirit was somehow removed from the field, or if you have like Izanagi out or something, they do not return to the hand anymore. Like, let's say I summon out Izanagi, and I activate Mausoleum of the Emperor. Pay 2k, summon out Yamato Dragon, attack with both, okay, end phase. I choose not to have Yamato Dragon go back to hand because Izanagi actually allows you to choose whether or not you want them to go back. And then after that, Yamato Dragon will not return to hand. If my opponent castells my Izanagi, my Yamato Dragon's not going back to my hand anytime soon unless they can pulse it. So that is a really nice thing that kind of gets around the loophole and stuff. I really like it. Izanagi is a very, very good card, and I feel like it's a mandatory 3 for most spirit decks unless you're going with the rank 4 spam build, which I don't really like too much, I'm going to be honest. Next up is Wang. I believe this guy came out relatively recently. I think it was Photon Shockwave when he came out. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I know he came out sometime in the Sexual era. So he is a Winged Beast Fire, 2100 attack, 1800 defense, level 6, standard spirit effects, and then whenever he is normal summon or foot face up, he destroys all set spell and trap cards your opponent controls. That's very nice. He just pops everything, and I believe there was a Photon monster released around the same time, which has the exact same effect, except he destroys all set cards your opponent controls. So Wang, he's a nice card, and because of Monarch Stormforth, he's easier to get out. Like, oh hey, Monarch Stormforth, get rid of your Cosmo, I don't know, Dark Destroyer, okay, Wang effect, pop all of your back row. I know Cosmos don't play much back row unless it's the card of Maya's variant, but hey, that could still devastate them by getting rid of all their Cosmojos and stuff. Very good card. I just wish he was a little bit higher in stats. That's a big issue with spirits, is that they tend to have really good effects, but not very high stats. I mean, really, once we get from here, nobody's above 2,000. Next up is the Great Long Nose, or as I like to call him, Eeyore. If you get that reference, you get a cookie. So, if this guy inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, your opponent skips their next battle phase. He's a level 5, 1900 attack, 1700 defense. So the whole idea with Great Long Nose is that, oh hey, your opponent can't conduct a battle phase, they can't OTK you, which means you don't really care about not having any monsters on the field. The issue with this is he is a level 5 with 1900 attack points. Maybe this was okay back in the day, but nowadays, when We have level 4 monsters with 1900 plus. This guy is not going to be doing battle damage to anything anytime soon, so really, honestly, he's not very good. I mean, don't get me wrong, that effect is nice, your opponent can't conduct their battle phase, but the issue is that you're never going to do battle damage with this guy, and there's no inherent way in Spirits to pump up attack power, so really, honestly, he's not very great. Next up is Xiao Soldier. This was back, let me just tell you this, guys. This is back when Konami was paranoid of making any level 4 higher than like 1800, okay? And so anytime they released a monster of 2000 or 1900 attack points that was level 4 or lower, they had to put some stupid restriction on it. And there's a lot of them. Look at Rare Metal Dragon, Xiao Soldier has a stupid restriction, and a whole bunch of other things. Basically, Xiao Soldier is a level 4 Thunder of 2,000 attack points, 1,600 defense, and any and all battle damage he does is halved. There's no reason to play this guy. I mean, yeah, he's a 2K beater, but that's about it. Like, really, he's not very great. Next up is Raksha. This guy is a personal favorite of mine because he's actually a good level 4 for the deck. So, whenever he is normal summoned or face up, you can select one spell trap card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. The nice thing is that, oh hey, you can get rid of back row attack, not have to worry about it, and people tend to get annoyed, especially whenever they have something that has like counters on it. I remember using this guy, and one of my friends loved using Shard of Greed. It was gaining popularity back then, and so, oh hey, they got one counter, okay, normal summon Yacht, bounce it back. So it resets the counters and they have to do it again. Yacht has 1900 attack points, he's level 4, he's a fairy, he has a water, 1500 defense. Not a bad monster. Next up is a Asura Priest. This guy was also used in the meta way back in GOAT format for various reasons that we'll get to whenever we read his effect. He's a level 4 light fairy monster, 1700 attack, 1200 defense. Something I'm just noticing is that a lot of spirits are fairies. Just something that I just kind of noticed. Which means they could technically benefit off of fairy support, but you can't exactly use Hall of the Fallen when none of your monsters can be special summoned. So, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and this monster cannot attack directly if it has already attacked a monster. He's 1700, so he can get over a lot of things, not everything though. That last part right there, this monster cannot attack directly if it has already attacked a monster, is actually been it's now considered like a rolling or something now. Like, they don't build it into every monster that can attack multiple monsters. They just simply kind of imply it with a ruling, I believe. But anyway, so Asura Priest, he's a really good monster. 1700 attacks, not terrible for a level 4. It could be a bit higher. I would really love it if it was like 18 or 1900. But considering the times and how Konami was scared of making any level 4 higher than 17, like, really good. So I can understand why they made it 17. With that being said, this guy was used back in GOAT format to kill off your opponent's GOAT monsters and other things. So it has seen meta play in one format from like 10 years ago. So he's not terrible. Really, he's not. He's a good monster. I just wish he was a bit beefed up. Next up is Raksha. This guy in Orotava, when they were announced for, I believe, Shadow Specters, everybody was freaking out because it was the first time we had gotten new spirit support since, I believe, Wang. So people really hyped him up. Orotava saw a lot of people wanting it, but nobody really cared for Raksha, which kind of sucks because he's not bad. So he's a fairy, another fairy. Fire, level 4, 1500 attack, 1900 defense. I really wish those stats were switched, but hey, whatever. So when you use normal summon or face up, you can reveal one spirit monster in your hand except himself. Then target one face up attack position monster your opponent controls. Return that target to the hand. You cannot special summon during the turn you activate this effect. So he's basically a walking impulse, and at the time, that was not bad at all. Now, granted, nowadays, everything just says, you cannot target this card, you cannot touch this card, you cannot destroy this card. This card is invincible. So, really, Raksha is not as good as he used to be. He's still a good monster, But he went from being like a 2 of, maybe a 3 of in a spirit deck to being a 0 to 1 of, really, because of just how everything says you cannot target me. With that being said, though, I really do like this card. My biggest issue is the fact that you cannot special summon your turn. You activate its effect. The big reason for that, okay, now don't get me wrong, spirits never special summon. But the big issue is you can't summon Yamato and you can't summon Izanami with that. So, I mean, during the turn you use sorry, not Rasetsu, that's his Japanese name, Raksha. So, it really sucks. Or wait, maybe Rasetsu is his English name. I don't know. I'm getting confused. Anyways, so he's a good monster, but he's actually out of use in 2 of Spirit's best monsters, especially since they're level 6, which allows for a lot of level 6 plays over there with those 2. So Raksha, he's a good monster, he's just not very good for the current format. Next up is Maha Ragi. I'm 95% sure I messed it up. Maha Ragi, I don't know. Or Maha Ragi, I don't know, I'm giving up. So he's a rock earth, 1200 attack, 1700 defense, level 4. If he is put face up or if he's normal summon, see one card on top of your deck before, during your next draw phase before you draw, and then return the card to the top or bottom of your deck. So he's kind of letting you stack your deck. Okay, you normal summon him, you activate his effect. Next turn, okay, before you get to draw, you look at the card. If it's something you want, you can just put it on top of your deck. If it's something you don't really need or want, you just put it on the bottom. He's not bad. My issue with him, again, like so many of the other spirits, is his stats should really be switched. This guy should be a 1700 beat stick with 1200 defense, not vice versa. Now, granted, though, I think I see what Konami is trying to encourage. You set it, you let them attack, you let your opponent attack into it. Maha Ragi activates. Okay, look, and then blah 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 blah. The issue with that is that 1700, well, that wasn't really all that bad at the time when this card was released, and he's one of the older spirits. Nowadays, that's terrible, and I'd much rather have him be a beater than a defender. Next up is Natori. This guy would be so much better if he did not have terrible stats, okay? So he's a Winged Beast Fire, 1200 attack, level 4, 0 defense. When discard inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, increase your life points by an equal amount to that battle damage. So, at max, this guy can give you back 1200 life points. Okay. The thing is, okay, and the idea is that, okay, whenever you're playing a spirit deck, you're going to be getting hit often directly, but, I mean, like, the idea is, okay, you gain back some life points, but he's a weakling. He's not going to be able to poke over anything, and even then, if he does kill something, he's only going to, at max, kill one monster, or do 1200 damage and get you some life points. Now, if you really want to play spirits and you really want to be able to keep life points up, play this card right here, Spring of Rebirth. Play it at 3 in spirits. Trust me, you won't regret it. Increase your life points by 500 life points every time a monster returns from the field to the owner's hand. So if a monster returns to your opponent's side of the field to their hand, you get 500 life points. If a monster returns from your side of the field to your hand, you gain 500 life points. So really, this card is basically made for spirits. If you have 3 out, you can gain 1500 life points off of one monster returning to the hand. That's a lot more than just one Natori attack, which has to attack directly. And heck, if you have multiple spirits out and they all return to the hand at once, you're going to get a crap ton of life points. Trust me, I've gotten to stupidly high life point levels with Spring Rebirth, mostly because nobody ever MSTs the card. They're more focused on whatever cards you set. So, next up is Izanami. So, I already mentioned her. Whenever you normal summon her, or if she's put face up, you can discard a card, add 1 spirit monster from your graveyard to your hand. She's a level 4 fairy water, 1100, 1800 defense. Level 4 with 1800 defense is not terrible, but again, I wish her stats were switched. She's not bad, but she's not good either. I wish you could just add a spirit from your grave to your hand without having to discard a card. Oftentimes, whenever I play her, and I usually play her as a 1 to 2 because I like to be able to get back my big spirits, I usually discard another spirit I don't need and then add back my spirit that I want. So, she's not terrible, but she's not good either. Like, really. I mean, she's like very mediocre. There's so many ways you can improve these. And my biggest issue is that there are a lot of spirits where they just don't make up for the fact that they can't be special summoned and that they return to the hand at end phase. It is so stupid, okay? Konami, these guys are supposed to be powerful. Make them powerful, okay? Maybe not like friggin' Yonder Garasu powerful, but, you know, powerful. Next up is Tsukiyomi. This card was banned for the longest time, and I remember when it came back, I was playing Spirits at the time, actually. I had just finished my Spirit deck, and whenever it came back, everybody was freaking out. Everybody was like, oh my god, Tsukiyomi's back. The game is going to change so much, it's going to impact the meta. Konami's going to have to ban it again. And I remember I was playing Spirits, and one of my friends asked me, why aren't you playing Tsukiyomi? I'm like, it's trash. And everybody laughed at me. And now it's, what, 2-3 years later, and Tsukiyomi's at 3. Never did anything. Nobody played it. And yeah, it's pretty much considered to be a garbage card. And literally the only time you ever see this card in somebody's binder is if it's the original printing, or if it's the ultimate rare version, which I think is a $40-something card last time I checked. So, what is this card? What does it do? Why was it banned? And why is it not good anymore? Well, Tsukiyomi, for those who don't know, is the Japanese moon god, or goddess. Again, I can't remember if Tsukiyomi is a girl or boy. So, like how Amaterasu is the sun god, Tsukiyomi is the moon god. So, what's one of the most well-known moon cards in Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh yeah, Book of Moon. This card's a literal Book of Moon. It has a Book of Moon's effect. When this card is normal or flip face up, flip one face up monster on the field into face on defense position. It's a walking Book of Moon that you can repeatedly use every single turn. So, this card, not very good. Okay, it's a targeting effect. You gotta waste your normal summon to do it, or you gotta flip it up, or let it be attacked into, and it's got terrible stats. It's a level 4 with 1100 attack and 1400 defense. Yes, it's a dark spellcaster, so it has that going for it, but it's not good anymore. It targets, Book of Moon's not even played anymore. Nobody plays it except for a few people. So, now why was this card banned? Okay, well, it was banned way back in Go Control format. Yeah, it was one of 2 spirits that was played heavily in Go Control format. We already talked about Asura Priest. Tsukiyomi was another one, and actually got banned because how everything would do it is you would summon your 1,000 Ice Restrict, and you'd have your other monsters out and stuff, and then you would suck up an opponent's monster, normal summon Tsukiyomi, Book of Moon your own 1,000 Ice Restrict, attack with everybody, flip summon 1,000 Ice Restrict afterwards, and then let Tsukiyomi go back to your hand and stuff, and repeat. Or heck, if your opponent has a 1,000 Ice Restrict, Book of Moon it. So really, this card became a very, very, very powerful staple way back in those days, and so a lot of people played it at 3, and it was just really, really good. Back in like 2006, or whenever good old Go Control was. So back then it was stupidly good. Nowadays it's meh. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for hating on Tsukiyomi. Don't get me wrong, it's a good card, but targeting effects and Book of Moon itself just is not good anymore. So next up is Gundari. This guy was actually designed to counter synchros, which is very redundant nowadays. But he was made back in, I believe, 5D's format. I don't know exactly what set. I mean, obviously he was made in 5D's format, but I don't remember what set. So he's a Pyro Fire, level 4 with 1,000 attack and 200 defense. Not good at all. If this card battles a synchro monster, return both monsters to your owner's hands at the start of the damage step without damage calculation. This thing is a freaking Grand Mole for specifically synchros. The literal only reason why you would play this guy over Grand Mole is the fact that Grand Mole is at 1. But however, Grand Mole can hit any monster. And heck, it's probably going to come out off of the limited list sooner or later, because nobody plays it. So, Gundari, good in theory, bad in actual practice. I mean, they really should have just made it a Grand Mole as a spirit monster, like made it any extra deck monster, like made it to where if this card battles an extra deck monster, return both monsters to the owner's hands at the start of the damage step. That would have been good. But nope, Gundari is not good. So, yeah, I mean, maybe in a synchro-heavy format, but still, even then, it's, I don't know. Next up is Orotava. It's a Stratos. When this card is normal summon or face up, you can add a spirit monster from your deck to your hand except himself. He's level 4, Fiend, Dark, 800 attack, 1800 defense. He's a Stratos verbatim. This guy is amazing. I'm not even gonna bother wasting time talking about him. Next up is Nikitama. During the turn, it's basically the exact opposite of Orotava. It's a fairy, spirit, light. Has the exact same stats as Orotava. I'm hoping they do the other Tamas. There's a total of 4 Tamas, and I forget which religion. But they each represent like different types of souls and stuff. So I believe there's like Sugitama or Sikitama, I don't remember. So it's 800 attack, 1800 defense. During the turn of this card is normal summon or face up, you can normal summon 1 spirit monster in addition to your normal summoner set. When this card is sent to the graveyard, draw 1 card. You must control a spirit monster to activate and resolve this effect. This card is really, really good, especially when combined with Orotava. My biggest issue with this card is that it doesn't allow for easy access to the big tributes. So I would have really liked to have seen this card say like you can normal summon 1 spirit monster if it's a high tribute, like if it's this card can be treated as like 2 tributes for a tribute summon monster. That would have been really good, but they didn't do that. But still, Nikitama is still a really good monster, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a reason why rank 4 spam spirits was a thing for a while. Like, one of the things would be you'd get a spirit in your graveyard, you'd normal summon Nikitama, normal summon Orotava, search, summon out Yamada no Okami, go into a monster, use its effect, get Nikitama engraved, Nikitama effect activates and resolves, giving you a new draw card, and it's okay, but it's not really all that great either. Well, no. The deck, but however, Nikitama itself is an amazing card. I feel like that Konami Roids needs to make more of these like it for spirits. Next up is a personal favorite of mine, Inaba White Rabbit. This card attacks your opponent's life points directly. You don't even get the option. It must attack your opponent's life points directly. It's a level 3 Beast Earth, 700 attack, 500 defense. In my experience while playing Spirits, a lot of people hate this card. Because how I play Spirits is I play the Dark Door and Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Now, if you guys don't know, Scrap Iron Scarecrow, whenever an opponent's monster declares an attack, you flip it over, you negate the attack, and then it sets itself. So it's a reusable trap card that once per turn can negate an attack. The Dark Door limits both players to 1 monster can attack each turn. So you can effectively make it to where your opponent can't attack you. All the issue is that Scrap Iron Scarecrow targets, so it's not as good as it used to be. So what I would do back in the day, and I'm talking like 2-3 years ago, is I would do that combo, and then I would just keep attacking my opponent directly with Inaba White Rabbit, and people got really annoyed at this little bunny. He's not bad. He's a level 3 of 700 attack. He can just keep chipping away at your opponent's life points. And if you get the Dark Door combo going with Scrap Iron Scarecrow, your opponent's not going to be having a good time. Next up is Otohime. This actually comes from I forgot what was it, a lore story, a Japanese story about like a bunny rabbit or something. I can't remember. And god dang it, man. I can't remember the story. I only know it thanks to Okami-san and her 7 companions. Check out that anime if you guys haven't heard of it. It's really good. Anyway, so Otohime is a level 3 spellcaster light with 0 attack, 100 defense. Absolutely terrible stats for a level 3. I mean, granted though, it's a spirit, so it's going to go back to your hand, so you don't have to worry about it being attacked. But still, also for some reason Otohime has 2 different artworks. I don't know why this spirit in particular gets a different artwork, but hey, whatever. So, when this card is normal summon or foot face up, you can change the battle position of 1 face up monster on your opponent's head to the field. The only good thing about this card is that I don't believe it targets, and the fact that if you set it and your opponent tries to go for game after killing it, you get to just put the monster that they were trying to kill you with into defense. So it's not very good, but it's not very bad either. I'd say it's a very mediocre. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's about a 4.5 to a 5. Next up, the big boy, Yonder Garasu. Oh boy. So this guy is banned. He's been banned, and he probably will always be banned ever since Chaos Emperor Dragon format. I can't remember when that was, but basically Oh, let's get on with this. So, Yonder Garasu, he's a level 2 Fiend Wind monster with 200 attack, 100 defense. Very poor stats for level 2. But the reason why he's banned, and you may be wondering this if you've never heard of it, and if you're not reading the effect right now, is because when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent skips the next draw phase. Okay, now you may be thinking, oh, this guy's never gonna get battle damage to your opponent. And that's true nowadays. I mean, heck, if Yonder Garasu went to 1, unless there's some combo that I don't know of, I don't think Yonder Garasu would do much. I may get a lot of dislikes for saying that, and I may get a lot of hate for saying that, but I truly don't believe Yonder Garasu would do very much unless there's something that I just don't know about. But however, the sheer amount of fear this card puts into players, the sheer amount of fear that it instilled in players back in the day, it's going to keep it on the ban list. And honestly, I'd much rather see it on the ban list than it come back and some new crazy FTK shows up. So for those who don't know, back in the day, in Chaos Emperor Dragon, there was a Yada deck. And basically, Chaos Emperor Dragon, he's another banned card. Basically, what he does is you can pay 1,000 life points, send all cards in both players' hands and on their fields to the graveyard, do 300 damage for each monster. Sorry, for each card sent to the opponent's. For each card sent to either player's graveyards, and basically just do a crap ton of damage. Nowadays, he's been errated over in Japan, and he's, I think, at 2 or 3 over there. He's not as good as he used to be, but he's still really good. Now, we haven't got to that errata, but anyways, back in the day, he was a stupidly powerful good card. And basically what you would do is you would have Sangan out, or Witch of the Black Forest. Both of them were out. Not on the ban list. I don't know what they were actually at. I think they were either at 2 or 3. And basically what you would do is you would have Sangan or Witch of the Black Forest out. You would summon out Chaos Emperor, use his effect, clear the board, okay? Sangan or Witch of the Black Forest effects would activate, searching you a Yonder Garasu. You would normal summon a Yonder Garasu. You would attack with the Yonder Garasu. You would do battle damage with the Yonder Garasu, and your opponent would skip the next draw phase. And you may be thinking, oh, that's no big deal. They'll just be able to tough it out. Here's the thing. Thanks to Chaos Emperor Dragon, they have no hand. They have no field. And back then, there were no monsters that could just summon themselves from the graveyard. So, what do? Your opponent's just going to keep normal summoning Yonder Garasu and attacking you with 200 damage. You're being pecked to death. You can't do anything about it. You have no hand. You can't draw. It's game. Heck, in the newer games, Konami actually has it programmed, and if you get the Yada lock onto the AI, it will just surrender. They won't even play. It'll just surrender instantly. And it'll say victory by Yada lock or something like that. This card, along with Chaos Emperor, are very feared cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and rightly so. I mean, personally, I really love Chaos Emperor Dragon, and I'd love to see him back, especially with the errata, because then he's more balanced. Yonder Garasu, I don't know what Konami could do to make it to where this thing is, like, not as powerful. I mean, if they were to errata it, the only thing I could think of that they could do is make it once per duel. And unless they do that, I don't see this guy ever coming back off the ban list, because the instant he does, somebody's going to come up with some sort of new Yada lock, and it's going to be really stupid, especially since Sky Squirt's Norialis, I think, is the one that has like Chaos Emperor's basic effect, is still running around, and I think a Sky Squirt's like BA PK Fire just stopped recently at a regional. I can't remember. Anyway, so continuing on, I think I've talked enough about Yonder Garasu. I've actually thought about doing a whole video just on Yada. Next up is Kinkabe. This guy has seen a lot of play in various different decks, mostly decks involving Mystic Piper and rank 1 spam decks. So when this card is normal summon or for face up, you can target you can just special summon one level 1 monster from your graveyard. When this card is removed from the field, remove that monster from play. So this card has literally no synergy or anything else to do with a spirit deck. There's no level 1 spirits aside from Kinka, and there's no spirits that, even if they were level 1, could be special summoned by its effect. So, literally, this card is only good in rank 1 spam decks, or just rank 1 decks in general. Now we get to the spell and trap support, and actually the first card we're going to discuss is anti-support. So, Finishing Mirror. Look at your opponent's hand, select and discard one spirit monster to the graveyard if a spirit monster exists in his or her hand. I don't know why nobody knows about this card. So it's a spell card, you just activate it, get to look at your opponent's hand for free. There's no cost. Zero, zip, none, nada, zilts. And then if there's a spirit monster in your hand, you get to discard one spirit monster. The only reason why I kind of let them mention if there's no cost is because theoretically you could just activate it, look at your opponent's hand for free, get to see all that information, and then activate a bunch of what is it called? I forgot. It's a trap card. You call a card name. If your opponent has it, all copies of that card go to the graveyard. If they don't, you lose a card. It's going to bug me into oh yeah, Mind Crush. That's what it's called. So theoretically, you could use this card with Mind Crush. And heck, if you're playing this card against a Spirit deck, which I don't know why anybody would be playing this card unless they want to like abuse Mind Crush like real hard. Which there's better cards to look at your opponent's hand with, like Drag Down to the Grave and stuff. But still, this card, it's okay anti-support for Spirits. But the thing is that Spirits have never been meta. Yes, they have had a few cards that have been used in meta, but they have never been meta and probably never will be meta. So this card will never ever see play. Next up is Spiritual Energy Settle Machine. This card basically acts as Izanami. So long as it's on the field, Spirit monsters do not return to the hand. And unlike Izanami, that is not optional. You must keep them out on the field while this card is out on the field. Now, during each, discard one card from your hand to the graveyard during each of your end phases. Okay, for some reason I thought it was during the standby phase, but I think I might be getting it mixed up with something else. And if you do not discard a card during your end phase, Energy Settle Machine is destroyed. Now, you may be thinking, oh, that's not bad. I'll just discard one card, let all my dudes stay on the field, and then next end phase I won't do it, and then, oh, hey, I don't worry about them bouncing. No, you still do. When this card is removed from the field, all face-up spirit monsters return to the owner's hands. Konami, you guys, really. So, my issue with this card is that last line of text. I don't mind this card having a cost, okay? It kind of needs it. This was released before Izanami came out, and it and Izanami are the only two ways to keep multiple spirits out on field. So, really, honestly, this card is an okay tool of. The big thing is that if it leaves the field in any way, and we got MST at 3, we got Turn Twister at 3, and we got dozens of other ways to destroy back row, all spirit monsters return to hand instantly. Not even at end phase or anything, just instantly. So, theoretically, if I activate this card, normal summon a spirit monster, if my opponent wants to just end my turn right there, they could just chain MST, destroy Spiritual Energy Settle Machine will activate, giving me back my monster. Right away, so I won't even get to use its effect or attack. Well, I'll probably get to use its effect if it's an on-summon effect, but I won't even deal to attack. So, this card, back when there wasn't as much back row destruction stuff, it was an okay tool of. Nowadays, I would be more scared to play it. Like, I really would. So, I don't know, it's like big iffy. Next up is Mirror of Yonder. So, Mirror of Yonder Garasu, and I think you can actually see it like eating, I think it's eating like a diamond, I don't know. So, Mirror of Yonder Garasu. It's an equip card. Spirits, for some reason, have like 4 equip cards. One of which did not show, it's called Spirit Burger, but it's not really used for spirits and doesn't do much for them. So, Mirror of Yonder, equip only to a spirit monster. An equipped monster does not have to have its effect and returns it to the hand activated. If it would be destroyed by battle, destroy this card instead. So, not only do you keep getting tongue-tied. So not only do you get to keep your spirit out on the field, but it prevents battle protection, which is really nice. My only issue with this card is that it doesn't protect it from destruction effects, which is understandable why, because this card was released back when destruction effects were not a big deal. I mean, Dark Hole was banned, Regeki was banned, destruction effects were limited to basically Fissure and Smashing Ground when those cards came out. So, Mirror of Yonder is a really good card for spirits. I mean, heck, you activate it, equip it onto like Yamada Dragon, okay, cool. I get to keep my Yamada Dragon, and hey, if my opponent summons something bigger, I don't have to worry about them killing it, because I'll just destroy Mirror of Yonder instead. It's not a bad card. Next up is Sword of Kusanagi. It can only be equipped onto a spirit monster, and it gives him piercing. And if the equipped monster you control is returned to the hand, discard, and this card is sent to the graveyard. Due to that, you get to return this card to your hand. So you don't lose anything, which is really, really nice. And this is how you make a well-designed equipped card. My only issue with it is that piercing damage isn't really that big of a thing. But hey, you get to equip it on like a Hino or a Yamada Dragon, and hey, look at that, I get to do piercing and get to draw or get rid of your cards out of your hand. So yeah, it's not bad, but it's not really all that great either. Also, if you want a background, like on Kusanagi, according to legend, is a god-slaying sword. It's a sword that's capable of killing gods, or at least that's my knowledge of it. It's a very interesting lore. Like I read Wikipedia a lot. Okay. Next up is the Orb of Yasaka, another equipped card for the deck. Again, they have like 4 equipped cards, but 3 are actually for the deck. 1 is not really all that great for the deck, and it's not even relegated only to Spirit, so I chose not to talk about it. So, Orb of Yasaka, equip onto a Spirit monster. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, gain life points equal to that monster's original attack. And then when the monster is returned to the hand, you can return this card to the hand as well. So, again, this goes back to gaining life points, and that's a big thing about Spirits, because you're going to be losing life points a lot, okay? Whether it's being your opponent attacking you because you have nothing on the field, or it's because you're paying a crap ton of life points for Mausoleum of the Emperor, summoning Hino and Yamada, you're going to be losing life points a lot, so the fact that this card gives you back life points, but at an unreliable amount, is pretty good, actually. And also, again, like sort of Kusanagi, and also Mirror of Yada, in my opinion, it's a well-designed equip card. It goes back to your hand at end phase if your Spirit returns to the hand, so it's not bad at all. I really like the 3 equip cards that Konami made for this deck. Spirit Burner is the other equip card. I don't really consider it to be one of the equip cards for the deck. Basically, you equip it onto a monster. You can change its battle position and then do 600 damage to your opponent. And if it goes to the graveyard because the monster was returned to the hand, you can put it on top of your deck. Or no, I think you can put it on top of your deck instead of like drawing or something. I don't remember. It's something really stupid. It's not all that great. It's not as good as Orb of Yasaka or Sword of Kusanagi, where it just goes back to your hand. It goes on top of the deck. It's just not good. So I chose not to talk about it, but I ended up talking about it anyways. Next up is Legacy of Yonder Garasu. I feel like the Konami kind of just made this card to troll people. Because of the artwork and the name and stuff. So activate one of these effects, you get to draw 1 card, so it's a Jar of Greed. Or activate only if your opponent controls a face-up spirit monster, draw 2 cards. Now, you may be wondering, okay, well, how often is my opponent's going to have a spirit monster? Well, a big thing that people complain, and I highly recommend it too, in Spirits is Creature Swap, okay? And so you normal summon out a Spirit, you activate Creature Swap, give your opponent a Spirit, you get their monster, and then, oh hey, look at that, I activate 3 Legacy Yonder Garasu, draw 6 cards, I have your monster, you have my monster, at end phase, my monster goes back to my hand, I get to keep your monster. So it's really stupid, and it's a nice little combo. I like this card a lot. It's just really good. And hey, if your opponent doesn't have a Spirit monster, it's a nice little draw card. Next up is Spirit's Invitation. This card is amazing, in my personal opinion. So each time a Spirit monster that you control returns to the hand, select 1 monster on opponent's side of the field, and return it to the hand. Pay 500 life points during each of your standby phases. If you do not, this card is destroyed. So sadly, I believe Select is the old-fashioned way of saying target, so it does target. But, however, if you have a bunch of Spirits out on the field, sorry, and they all return to the hand, you can crowd control your opponent and just get rid of all their stuff. Or if you have 1 or 2 Spirits out on the field, like if you're going with this combo, you're going to have 2 Spirits out on the field, you can bounce 2 monsters your opponent controls. And hey, you don't have to pay the life points until your standby phase, so even if your opponent does MST it, you're not losing any life points from it. I really like this card, and I think it's a solid 2 of an up here Spirit deck. So that is it for what Spirits have at the moment and one card that they're getting so soon. But I already have a few cards from the anime that they have not gotten yet. First up is Flaming Fist, which I swear that card art looks fan-made, okay? I don't know if that's actually what it looked like in the anime, but I hope not, because if so, Kazuki Takahashi, you got really lazy. So, Flaming Fist, target 1 Spirit monster you control, it gains 200 attack until the end phase. If it inflicts battle damage to your opponent this turn, gain 500 life points. Not bad. Obviously it's meant to be used if Hinogu Tsuchi, so that he goes up to 3k, can punch over more stuff, and you get 500 life points, and your opponent loses all their cards in your hand. Not bad. I wish it gave them more than 200 attack, though. Like, if this card was actually printed, I'd like to see 1,000 attack or 500 attack, okay? Because a lot of the spirits, especially the lower level ones, have crappy stats. So I'd really like to see this card, if it were to be printed, give them like 1,000 or 500 attack points. Something more than 200, because that's just not good. And maybe even make it permanent, so that if they do stay on field, you get to keep that attack boost. Next up is Special of Illusions. It's a trap card. Activate only when a spirit monster you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Special summon one spirit token that has the same original level, type, attribute, attack, and defense as a destroyed monster. Really, all this card is good for is maintaining field presence, and I like it. Okay, my biggest issue is that more than likely, if your spirit's been destroyed, it's because they were run over in battle, and that means that this token is going to be able to be killed in battle too. Now, the nice thing, though, is that if it's like through Raigeki or Dark Hole and your Hinogu Tsuchi or your Mana Dragon got killed, or heck, if it's a Mirror Force, oh, hey, look at that, I got a 28 or 26 token. It's not bad, it's not great either, it's just kind of mediocre. I like it, though. Next up is Groundbreaking. Add one spirit monster from your graveyard to your hand. I feel like this should be a spell card. Okay? If this attacked effect, it should be a spell card, not a trap card. But other than that, I really like it. Just get it back a spirit. It's basically what Izanami used to do. But I like it. So, anyway, so what do spirits need? They really need more ways to swarm the field, and that's a big issue. They also need more coherence. Right now, spirits, they only have a real few small amount of cards that actually tie the whole typing together. And I think that also the lack of coherence is also due to the fact that they don't have an official archetype. They're all just a bunch of monsters that have good to mediocre effects to one really amazing effect, and that don't really do much for each other with the exception of 2 or 3 cards. With that being said, though, Konami could really make this deck good if they just tried, and they keep giving us new spirits, and heck, provided it is, and considering how many religions there are in the world, they're never going to run out of monsters to make. So really, what this deck needs is more ways to swarm, and they need monsters, and I'd like to see a card that bumps up their attack points. That way, so that like I could actually make use of Natori, or really abuse the Sura Priest effect, so he can really attack over a lot of things. Same thing goes for Yamato no Kami. So really, I feel like they need a way to attack boost. They need more coherence with each other, and they could also really use an easier way of swarming the field. Yes, Nikitama is the right step in the right direction, but they still need another monster too. You can't just rely on one monster to get your swarm going. So guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Sorry about the cut in between. I had to go help my sister or something. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And if you guys want to contact me, all my social links will be down below. My Facebook, my Twitter, my Skype, my PSN, stuff like that. And follow me on YgoAmino. I'm on there occasionally. I try to post, but I don't really have the time. So guys, thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Peace out, and see y'all later.